aspiring tyrants use real, provoked, or faked terrorism as an excuse to declare some kind of state of emergency. A state of emergency meaning we lose our basic rights, and then that temporary situation becomes permanent. We get used to it, it becomes the everyday. This is basically page 1 of the playbook of modern tyranny.
The different concepts we're going to be talking about, especially from a psychological perspective, it's nothing new. It's something that's been rinsing and repeating through history, just with various civilizations and societies that we have seen over the generations. And it's a common pattern of the strong conquering the weak in some way, fashion, or form, and having a control hierarchy and system in place that make sure that the weak who are being conquered don't even know they are being conquered. So one of the main reasons, one of the main issues, and one of the main reasons that leads to this type of what we can call mass psychosis, or this type of tyrannical societies where you pretty much have to obey and listen to the government and the state and follow whatever they do, no matter what is going on. It doesn't matter if it follows logic. It doesn't matter if it follows or breaks any of your morals or personal ethics. You just have to obey to the state, or you're gonna have to potentially face ridicule, whether it be from a family pressure, social pressure. You might have to, you might not have the same privileges you used to at one point if you don't follow the rules that this tyrannical society has put in place. And we're gonna really see how over the last year and a half with the pandemic, that's really been exploited and tested to a new level and height, where it seems like in the Western side of society, the personal willpower of the human as an individual has been absolutely lost, and they're just being turned into mindless zombies that have no option but to conform. Now, when the strong, regardless of what generation it is, we're going to talk about it as the 1%ers in the common modern area. When they are looking to take over a population, it's not from a physical violent front anymore, it's from a psychological front of manipulating, brainwashing, and programming a person to literally follow your order and command and think that is the only set reality, when in turn there is no more logic really supporting it. It only supports the wants and needs of that tyrannical force or tyrannical leadership.
It's a new morning in America. Fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone. We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
A lot of this stuff and a lot of crisis proven through history, whether it be war or on a biological front or on an economic front, regardless what the crisis is, majority of the time proven through history, it has been man-made by a tyrannical force and leadership to exert their power, to exert their control, and to extend this control and power over the masses through generational periods. This has been the same tape repeating through history, regardless what civilizations, regardless what societies, regardless what crisis, there's always been an agenda behind it that benefits a small percent and absolutely decimates and destroys the freedoms of the 99% and the majority of other people. You've seen this through the histories, whether it be in ancient times with the enslavement in Egypt, whether it be with conquerors taking over lands and the various measures they used, like eras such as Genghis Khan. You've seen this through the war era with people such as Hitler or Stalin, or all these various tyrants and leaders who can take over an entire population and change and manipulate the entire thinking process of that population and remove all their freedoms, all their rights. For example, Genghis Khan. it was very easy to see this person is a conqueror. This person is a tyrant. They're literally physically going to war and raiding and taking over other places and expanding their reach, expanding their empire. Or with someone like Hitler, very easy to see on paper, he was enslaving them, he was killing them, the Holocaust and so forth. It's very easy to see that. Nowadays, it's not right in front of your eyes. The enslavement, the entrapment, the removing of a person's willpower is all happening behind the scenes. In the Western side of society, everybody is way too distracted with short-term dopamine hits and satisfactions, whether it be from social media and all those other things that I talk about, that they don't even realize what's going on behind the scenes with slowly and surely their freedoms and rights being taken away and us moving closer and closer to a totalitarian government and state, as well as having pretty much a tyrannical leadership where if we don't follow exactly what they say, even though it might not have any scientific proof, even though it might not benefit the people, even though there's no logic or reasoning behind it, if we don't follow what they say, we will suffer. We will be punished in some way or form.
My fellow Americans, tonight I want to speak with you about our nation's unprecedented response to the coronavirus outbreak.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades.
This is the way it always was and always will be. It only matters how you respond.
You must stay at home.
The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight.
People will only be allowed to leave their home for the following very limited purposes.
This hasn't been as much of a viral and biological pandemic compared to the size of the mental pandemic that it's been, in my opinion. There has been a huge amount of control and power and personal choice of the individual person being absolutely taken away. What the masses want more than anything, the dumbed down masses, what they want more than anything is to go back to the way of life before the pandemic. So they are willing to give up any right. They are willing, and they don't even know they're giving up their rights. They don't even know they're giving up their freedom. So they are willing to give that all up bit by bit until they can finally get this glimmer of hope that they will go back to the state that we used to be in. So this conformity, exactly, this conformity, this control, this removal of rights is being disguised as cooperation. First, ask yourself, when has the government ever had your best interest in mind? If you actually take the time to use the supercomputer in your brain as well as the supercomputer in your hands and go to study how economics works or how politics works, there is nothing within the study of politics or within the real world use of politics as well as economics that talks about the well-being of humanity or the well-being of the middle class or the poor or the working class. There's nothing. It's all to further extend power, all to further extend control, all to further benefit a small percent of the population, while the rest of the population is in a state of suffering, but they have been manipulated and programmed to think that what they are going through is normal.
Of grave concern to people everywhere is the problem of drug addiction and the control of illegal drug trafficking.
People are also more depressed, more suicidal, more anxious, more confused, and more scared than they've ever been before. People feel like they no longer have a willpower of their own choice, that every day is just another day's by. You go to work, you scroll social media makes you feel like shit after you get your little dopamine hits, and you repeat, that it keeps repeating. And we're seeing that depression, the dependencies on different drugs, whether it be opioids or other substances such as alcohol, marijuana, overall mental health issues, they're going through the roof. And what are you also noticing? That mental health issues are being marketed and advertised to be a norm. It's being advertised as a norm. Don't worry, everybody is depressed. We're all anxious. We all have this anxiety. This is normal nowadays. This is how our society has developed. No, it's being advertised that mental illness is now normalized. It's being advertised that it's normal. Don't worry, take this pill. Don't worry, puff on this. Don't worry, go to this fucking venue, talk to this person. It's being normalized now because you can't have people out of this mental state. If people get their own power of choice back, if people get their own fucking willpower back, that fire in their fucking heart, that warrior spirit, and say, no, I'm not fucking listening to this shit anymore. I'm gonna go fuck being depressed, fuck going on social media, fuck this mindless nonsense. If they can literally slap themselves in the face and wake up and go, what the fuck am I doing every day? I'm watching the fucking news, I'm scared about this, I'm scared about that, I don't know shit about shit. I never studied anything, I don't go learn anything, I don't go through any trial and error, and then I'm sitting here wondering why I'm depressed. It's because that willpower, that fire that people used to have within their spirit, that's been absolutely destroyed on purpose. When you have your own personal willpower, that fire that drives you, when you think for yourself, when you go out and get what you want for yourself, whether it be knowledge, whether it be value, whether it be money, whether it be personal growth, development with your body, mentality, spirit, financial development. When you go do that for yourself, you are not a great consumer. You are a fucking wonderful human being. You are a very strong-willed human being. But that's not what the 1%ers want. The 1%ers want the masses to be absolutely perfect consumers. What's the perfect consumer? Someone who goes to work every day, has no power of choice, has no willpower, listens to everything listens to every direction, every order, and scrolls on their phone, jerks off and goes to porn every day, plays endless video games, mindlessly consumes, never produces shit because you need willpower to produce something. You need that fire in your fucking soul to wake you up every day to produce something. You don't want to live like an NPC. You don't want to live like a background character. You want to be the main character in your anime fucking story. As corny as that sounds. Your story's gonna have ups and downs. It's gonna have tribulations. It's gonna have losses. You're gonna go through chaos, but you're gonna come through it stronger than the rest of these fucking NPCs. The rest of these background characters, the rest of these people who are just in the reality are mindless zombies. People don't even talk to each other anymore. Everything is just mindless, surface level conversation about what they saw on social media. One friend sending another friend a meme. One friend telling another friend what happened on the news. One friend telling another friend what this celebrity, what this friend did. There's no more intellectual conversations being held by the masses. Right? Why can't we do that? Why can't we inspire each other? Why can't we help wake each other up? Why can't we ignite that willpower? So I just wanted to give that little bit of motivation and understand that, like, all men, regardless of what you look like, regardless of how you feel regardless of how you feel with your emotions, you know you have a vision of yourself in a better version. You know you have this upgraded version of yourself you see in your head. But as we have aged and as society has killed masculinity and has stomped on our willpower and our power of choice, that vision has been blurred for people. But you know it's still there. You know in your fucking heart, as a man, it's still there.